whose future will determine the future that will be celebrated by the generations to come. Nigeria's potential is boundless and our future is bright. By embracing this crisis as an opportunity for transformation, we can build a nation that is not only resilient to economic challenges but also poised for greatness. The Supreme Court judgment on financial autonomy for local government, does it in any way reflect a vision for the future? I'll leave that question for you to answer. But the theme of this class is Leadership for National Development, Embracing Principles over Impulses. I will unravel the theme as we go. The program ends at 11. The theme for this class is Leadership for National Development, Embracing Principles over Impulses. So the discussions we are going to have will fall under this theme. And local government financial autonomy is one of the discussions we are having. I was looking at the Constitution yesterday. I turned to the fourth schedule of the Constitution entitled Functions of a Local Government Council. The Constitution says the main functions of a local government council are as follows: the consideration and the making of recommendations to a state commission on economic planning or any similar body on the economic development of the state, particularly insofar as the areas of authority of the council and of the state are affected. Another function of the local government is to make proposals to run the state. The local government collects rates, radio and television licenses. So they are meant to collect rates for radio and television licenses. A local government will help establish and maintain cemeteries, burial grounds, and homes for the destitute or infirm. It is the responsibility of a local government to license bicycles, trucks, canoes, wheelbarrows, and carts. They establish, maintain, and regulate slaughterhouses, slaughter slabs, markets, motor parks, and public conveniences. In Oyo State, are the local governments running the parks or the state government? The governor is known to have initiated the park management system. So have local governments been carrying out their responsibilities that include naming of roads and streets and numbering of houses? In your streets, are there numbers? In your new area? The local government is responsible for the registration of all births, deaths, and marriages. They are to provide public conveniences, sewage and refuse disposal. In Oyo State, the Ministry of Environment is responsible for refuse disposal. Is that against the Constitution? As highlighted here, as we go, we'll look at more functions of the local government. Why are local governments not performing the functions established in the Constitution? On Thursday, the 11th of this month, the Supreme Court made what some have described as a landmark ruling. The Apex Court said that the Nigerian government can pay money to local governments directly or through the states. But since the current system of paying through the states has not worked, the Supreme Court ruled that local government should now receive their funds directly. Remember, Nigeria has 3 levels of government: federal, state, and local. Over the years, local governments have struggled partly because state governments control their funds. State governments have been spending money meant for local governments and making decisions for them. Some attribute this to the problems in the local government. Ordinarily, local governments are responsible for primary education, health centers, markets, motor parks, and local roads. But these services are not being properly managed. Nigeria has 774 local government areas. However, some states have created additional local government development areas, LCDAs. For example, Lagos State has 37 LCDAs, in addition to its 20 local government areas. In 2016, Oyo State Governor Abiola Ajimobi created LCDAs after approval from the State House of Assembly. To fund some of these LCDAs, some governors have been accused of redistributing money meant for the constitutionally recognized local government areas. This has further strained local governments as most of their responsibilities have been taken over by the states. State independent electoral commissions created by the Constitution also lack financial autonomy. So what is the consequence? They now serve the interest of state governance, making local government elections unfair and more like selections by the governors. So many have celebrated the ruling of the Supreme Court as a step towards empowering local governments to manage their own funds and responsibilities better. Is that true? Are there lacunas that governors will take advantage of to still control the local government? The governor of Oyo State is known to have raised some concerns about the judgment. Let's listen to the governor of Oyo State, Sheyi Makinde, raising some points.
I've also read, a lot of sensational headlines, in the newspaper. Oh, the governors, their hands have been broken, this is the best thing that's ever happened to Nigeria. It is the best thing after bread and butter. I think this morning I saw Noge saying, oh, okay, with this judgment, now there's freedom in the land. Well, let me thank you all, for joining this important consultative meeting. I want us to discuss the decision of the Supreme Court as it concerns financial autonomy, so-called financial autonomy of the local government councils, because I believe a lacuna has been created between that Supreme Court decision and the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We all I swore to uphold the Constitution, but the law is the law. if the law says, if the law is in conflict, it behoves on us to look for our own homegrown solution that will ensure that we have transparency, we can operate, and our people, because when two elephants are fighting, the grass will suffer. Let me also recall that since the beginning of this administration, Oyo State, we've conducted local government elections twice now. And I hate to say, well, did I not tell you? When I was sworn in on May 29, 2019, I dissolved the local government. The Supreme Court basically said to us that, look, governors don't have rights to dissolve those local council. But why did I dissolve the local council then? It was because elections were held into the LCDAs. And the same Supreme Court has basically now said only 774 local governments in Nigeria. So there's confusion in the land. And when you have confusion, what it means is the structure is shaky. So you have to remove as much of those confusion as possible. So we will be outlining the major challenges we have at the local government level, so we can develop our own solution, like I said. I mean, the challenges, if addressed, will ensure that we have seamless implementation, of the process that can allow Oyo State to continue to run harmoniously.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
Yes, that's the governor of Oyo State speaking there. He made some point. He used the word, the so-called financial autonomy. So take note of that word, so-called. He makes another point that a lacuna has been created. He makes the point that when two elephants are fighting, the grass pays the price. So who are the elephants here? Who is the grass? The governor says there is confusion in the land. Is there confusion in the land? He goes ahead to state that Oyo State would develop its own solution. Is that solution outside the Supreme Court ruling? The Commissioner of Justice and Attorney General of Oyo State, Biodun Aikomo, is on State Affairs. Mr. Commissioner, good morning.
Good morning, Professor Obilo.
I greet you. I wish I was a professor.
No, I'm dashing you. Professor of Political Science.
Thank you.
It's nice being here today.
I'm happy to see you again.
Yes, thank you.
Your boss says the so-called financial autonomy. Is it so-called?
Well, he just played the speech or the address of His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde, and repetition does not strengthen arguments. Is there for everybody to see. But I should add that the statement should not be taken out of context, because it was made in the context of a remarks. So you have to look at it holistically. His Excellency was talking about the aftermath of the judgment of the Supreme Court. And this is without prejudice to the judgment itself. That after the judgment, there was a status quo. The judgment has, as it were, disrupted the status quo. So definitely a responsible government must think about the consequences of the disruption, as it were. I'm using the word carefully now, and make plans going forward. Because governance is not a tea party. It involves the end game for both the federal government and the state government is development of the people, is welfare of the people. So we have a judgment. There is a way the relationship between the state and the local governments have been managed, and the judgment has sought to change the dynamics. So we have to adjust. And that was the context, not, taking it to say the so-called should not be the focus here, because you should look at it holistically.
He said Oyo State will develop its own solution.
It's not different from what I just said. Now, I said there was a status quo, which was known to everybody. Now the judgment has changed that status quo. And His Excellency said Oyo State will develop its own. And it was not going to be a whimsical development. Committees were set up to look into the judgments. 2 committees, technical, headed by the Deputy Governor, legal, headed by Chief Bolaji Ayorin, the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, to read the judgment and advise on how to proceed going forward. That is the reasonable thing to do in the circumstances.
Let's listen to the governor. He has more points to make.
So the issue of local government elections, in Oyo State, we don't have caretaker committee or caretaker set up at the local level. We planned the election such that not a single day was given out. So we are responsible administration in Oyo State. We don't need the federal government to tell us what to do. We know what to do, and we know what is good for our people.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
What we inherited as an administration in May 2019 was a local government system that was holding backlog of salaries, gratuities, pension, and I'm saying it because Oyo State will get out of this even stronger. We are people that we know what is good for our people. We can run our own affairs. The federal government is not superior constitutionally to the state government. Well, they have more resources than the states, but the jurisdiction is coordinate. So we can do what is right in Oyo State, and we've been doing what is right in Oyo State. So we inherited local government, owing salaries, pensions, and gratuities. And for primary school teachers, the chairman of NUT is here. Before we came in, their leave bonuses were last paid in 2017. So this administration paid 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, 22, 23. The primary healthcare facilities, primary schools, and inner roads were all in a bad shape.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
The Commissioner of Justice and Attorney General of Oyo State, Biodun Aikomo, is on State Affairs. Mr. Commissioner, the governor says we don't need the federal government to tell us what to do. What does that mean?
Okay. We operate a constitutional democracy and we practice federalism. I know you know, as a political scientist, the best definition of federalism was by Kenneth Ware. It defines the arrangement as a multi-level system of government between a central and federal government where the relationship is coordinate and independent. So the Constitution has spelled out the sphere of influence of the states and the federal government. If you check the schedule to the Constitution, the laws the areas covered by the federal government, clear, exclusive, concurrent, residual, and when there are laws from both sides, how they operate. So the states are actually, as His Excellency has said, they enjoy a measure of independence, sovereignty, as it were, and control over their space as determined by the Constitution. And like His Excellency said, I recall very vividly, after the local government elections on the 27th of April, the tenure of the local government chairman expired. His Excellency wanted to be part of the inauguration, but it coincided with the period he was traveling. Because His Excellency did not want a day, to elapse, it was delegated to the deputy governor and the CJ to carry out the exercise, notwithstanding that it was a big event that the governor would love to be part of. Some states currently do not have democratically elected systems. It's in the judgment. We have. This government has conducted local government elections twice. So the government is responsible. If you take a generalist approach to look at what goes on in 36 states, to take a position, it may not be fair because you have to deal with facts on their merits. In Oyo State, we have a constitutionally, democratically elected system of local government, and His Excellency has stated what the government has done over the period with the resources that we have with the local governments and running them.
Can I interpret the governor's pronouncement to mean that he doesn't believe in the judgment, and by implication, he doesn't believe in financial autonomy for the local government areas?
Mr. Obilo, you have played what His Excellency said. I cannot sit here to second guess. This is not a court to say this is what His Excellency said. If you give it very plain, literal interpretation, the speech of His Excellency is there. You can play it 1,000,000 times.
So why did he set up the committees? To do what?
I've made it clear. The committees work. Have you seen the judgment?
I've read part of it.
The judgment is cumulatively 324 pages. 63 pages by Justice Agim, 14 by Justice Nwosu Iheme, 44 by Garuba. If you pull everything together, it's 324.
That's a book.
Yes. I was in court when the judgment was delivered. The judgments were delivered in summary. In fact, when I woke up in the middle of the night today, I was reading some of the judgments. So we have to carefully read the judgments, understand the reasoning of the court, know the possibilities within the law. But His Excellency did not say it does not matter what they have said, we are going to do whatever we like. The decision of the stakeholders meeting on Monday was, okay, as of Monday, we did not even have the CTC. You can find out. The CTCs were released yesterday, a week after the judgments were handed down. So we will now begin to study it and respond. We have 4 to 6 weeks and come back to the governor to say, these are the limits, these are the possibilities within the law.
So why did he conclude that a lacuna has been created by the judgment?
What do you understand by that expression?
Lawyers use lacuna.
What does it mean?
That a space has been created, a conflict has been created.
So, if there was a status quo, you have received, funds in a particular way, and you have used it to run a system over a period. And this suit was filed in May, 22nd of May. And within 2 months, that status quo is going to change. That's a change in the direction, which necessitates a review of procedure, of strategy going forward. Because the government must continue to run at the state and the local government levels.
Is there really change? Should this judgment be celebrated in any way? I'm not a lawyer, but I'm seeing some gaps.
So you are seeing gaps.
I'm seeing gaps.
Then that is.
But you don't want to state that there are gaps.
No. You are contradicting yourself.
How?
No, you.
I've only asked you a question that the governor said there is a lacuna. I have not made the point. But I'm now saying I am seeing some gaps.
I'm saying the governor is my boss.
Yes.
The remarks of His Excellency was, quite detailed. And I've said that it should not be taken out of context. So there is no point coming to, second guess and interpret what His Excellency said. Because it was clear.
I'm not interpreting the Excellency now.
It was clear.
I am saying that as a watcher of the polity and as a layman reading that judgment, I am seeing gap. One of the gaps I am seeing, you still have the State Electoral Commission. They are not financially autonomous. They will rely on the House of Assembly. And by implication, they will rely on the governor to fund them. So the governor can still use OSIAC to control who becomes local government chairman. Is that not a gap?
Honestly, all these are speculations. You are just speculating.
Speculation?
Yes.
How?
So if you flip that argument, then it means every incumbent president must win elections.
We are talking about state electoral.
No. It's the same thing.
Local government elections are basically selection. Will you agree?
Who appoints INEC officials?
INEC is more independent than what we have in states.
Well,
do you agree?
I don't agree.
I know you will not agree.
How can I agree? How?
What goes on? Is it local government? Is it elections?
So what did we have on the 27th of April?
What did you have?
I can show you pictures on my phone. I voted in my ward.
You voted?
Yes, I did.
And PDP won everywhere.
Well, that was the result.
PDP must be very popular.
Did you contest? This was me.
Voting.
My ward, voting.
And so many people could not vote. So many persons could not vote.
The law we are not in a chaotic environment. The law that set up OSIEC, that gave powers to all the offices, has provided a way out for grievances to be addressed. After the elections, tribunals were set up for people with valid grievances to litigate. So if you sit down here as a journalist to say all the wide claims you are making, you are not fair to the government.
To the government?
Yes.
I have monitored local government election for more than 20 years. Mr. Commissioner, I can confidently tell you that local government elections in Nigeria are sham elections.
Well, that is your view. I have not monitored in 20 years, but I can say that the last election that I witnessed was very fair.
Now, the House of Assembly, look at this point. The House of Assembly still exercises oversight on local government. Then what is the function of the councillors in local governments? I know they have their own legislative arms.
You know, all these are provisions of the Constitution.
Yes.
And opinions have been expressed on some clumsiness in the arrangements as to lawmaking and finance for local governments. But that is the Constitution.
Do you see some confusion here? Do you see contradiction between the Supreme Court judgment and constitutional provisions?
The issue submitted to the courts at this instance, in respect of which pronouncements were made, did not extend to that.
Okay.
So maybe someday in the future, the issue will still be considered.
Do we need constitutional amendment to solve this problem?
To operate constitutionalism, whenever it is necessary, because the Constitution is a living instrument. And in the course of implementing it, when you realize that there are gaps, there are things that require amendment, it should be dealt with. On this issue, I can conveniently say that we have not heard the last.
We've not heard the last.
As far as the law on the subject matter is concerned.
Can the state governors go back to the Supreme Court?
If there are justiciable conditions, why they can always do that.
Can the Supreme Court overrule itself?
The Supreme Court can overrule itself in deserving circumstances. But it is not a position that the Supreme Court takes lightly or whimsically. There must be some very cogent, reasons for the Supreme Court to depart. Because in this case, the Supreme Court that sat on the 11th of July was a full panel, because it was, considering the Constitution. 7 members. So 6 judges stood on one side, and one judge, Justice Abib Abiru, partly stood with them, but disagreed on some of the grounds.
What were the grounds that he disagreed with?
Okay. The grounds.
Okay, Mr. Commissioner,
the dissenting position.
Just hold on. We'll come back. The program is State Affairs on Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. The Commissioner of Justice and Attorney General of Oyo State, Biodun Aikomo, is on State Affairs. Don't go away.
State Affairs with Edmond.
It linked Ibadan to Ile-Ife, Ile-Ife to Benin, Benin to the east. Apart from that, we also have international market along that route, Balagi International Market. We also have our airport, international airport very soon. Ibadan airport will be international. We also have it there. So that road now that we have constructed, dualized, is actually helping us to expand our economy. 2, it has also improved the transportation system around that axis.
Good work that the governor has done the place has improved a lot, and traffic is affected positively. So I give kudos to the governor for doing this great work. It has also relieved us of the traffic by the other side of the road. So kudos to the governor for doing that.
The road is okay. Even as I'm going, I'm supposed to pass the other road, but because of the that is why I pass here.
Good one. The government has really tried in that aspect. It's a very good access road.
So, for us, we are trying to look for improved transportation system. We also want to make sure that those having businesses around that area, we have contributed to ease of doing their businesses. Two, if you look at that road, we also have street lights on the road and laybys on the road. In fact, one close to the Loyola College, we find that we are working on how to put shelters so that people can stay while waiting for vehicles to pick them up. So there are some 3-4 laybys on that stretch of the road. So people that are working in that area, if you look at what has happened between 1967 that I'm mentioning up to when we commissioned that road, it was serious hardship. But now, from that end to this end, it is now prosperity for all of us.
Making a lot of business through the road because we gain more customer through the road, maybe like passing customer. Without the road, assuming the road is not well done like this, they will not be able to. Maybe we have customers, so we really appreciate Governor Seyi Makinde for that. Thank you so much, our governor. We really appreciate you. Aya.
Thank the governor for this road. Ever since he have made this road, our business have been improved. People are passing and they are looking at our business from distance. They used to see it because before they don't used to like notice it because doors don't allow us to put our things outside. Like we used to put them inside. So ever since he made this road, we can put our things outside and people are patronizing us. We thank him for his good work and we pray he keep doing it.
Excellencies, Engineer Seyi Makinde's focus was to take that axis to look international. Road connectivity, also something to relax when you are coming from abroad or anywhere within Nigeria. Also, when you want to do business at the Bola International Market, you will not be stressed. Now, what we did there was to link the international airport, the airport, I so call it international because I believe very soon they will give us that right. Now, is to link that airport to other parts of Ibadan with ease. I will tell you why. There is another road when you're coming from the gate of the airport that link to Agugu area.
On Splash 105.5 FM, the Integrity Station. My guest is the Commissioner of Justice and Attorney General of Oyo State, Biodun Aikomo. We are looking at financial autonomy for local government, and the grounds of this discourse is the recent Supreme Court judgment. But let's go back to Splash FM 2023 gubernatorial debate. The governor of Oyo State has made some points. Does he really believe in financial autonomy for local government? That issue came up during the debate. So let's listen to Governor Seyi Makinde.
I refuse to sign for local government autonomy. Anywhere in the world, you don't have three people federating. You have two. You have the state and the federal.
There are three tiers of government in the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We have Local Government Service Commission, don't we? That means that it is and we have State Civil Service Commission. That shows that there are different categories of governance. And in terms of revenue generation, it's because the state governments in their grid are stealing the functions of the local government.
For you to drive development, you must drive it from the local government, not from the top. Today, in Oyo State, the local government are non-existent. No one is accounting for anything. In 2019, 30 billion. In 2021, 80 billion. In 2022, 79 billion. That is in excess of 0.6 trillion naira, and no one is accounting for it. I'm in support, a staunch believer in the local government autonomy.
I refuse to sign for local government autonomy. Anywhere in the world, you don't have three people federating. You have two. You have the state and the federal.
There are three.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
So, Mr. Commissioner, that is the known position of our governor, Seyi Makinde. He doesn't believe in local government autonomy. He stated it point blank. And that was February 2023. So, is that a reflection of the statement he made during the week?
Then you should be very proud of the governor, who has been consistent. And, you know, it is the convenient thing to do in this part of the world is to play to the gallery. People hardly stand for their convictions. You should be proud of His Excellency the Governor.
Why?
For taking, everybody can have a position. That is His Excellency's position, and he has been consistent amidst the clash of arms. He's speaking the same language.
So he's saying
that is leadership.
That is leadership.
That is forthrightness.
So federal government should not come and tell him what to do in Oyo State.
Now, that is the difference. He is now not saying that, notwithstanding my position, notwithstanding the Supreme Court, I'm going to have my way and, and maintain my stance. He then set up a committee headed by a renowned legal practitioner, senior advocate of Nigeria, Olaji Ayorinde, to advise him. So whatever advice that the committee will give in accordance with the law, of course, His Excellency will be bound.
He also made some fundamental points there. That normally the federating unit should be the state and the federal government. Normally. Because the implication of this judgment as a political scientist means we are now going to have a more powerful federal government and a weaker state government. Do you agree?
How do you mean? You need to explain to me clearly. Because I gave...
financial control is power.
I gave the definition of Kenneth Ware on federalism. It's just a multi-level system of government where they are coordinate and independent. The sphere of influence is determined by the Constitution. If you listen to His Excellency very carefully, it's just that Nigerians like to go with the crowd. His Excellency was saying that all this talk about financial autonomy, because it's a feeding bottle economy. We all wait for FARC. Imagine what is the economy of California? That's a state in America. That is federalism par excellence. So if we have a bigger cake, if the states are viable, if the states are running well, resources are coming, they are generating, they are active economically, we will not all be at the mercy. Why is everybody talking about what comes from Abuja? Because the whole gist about this is the share of the cake. And His Excellency is saying we are moving away from this myopic thinking of let's just wait for whatever comes. We are opening up Oyo State to become a prosperous economic hub, building road from Isheyin to Bomosho, from Oyo to Isheyin, opening up everywhere. Go and think about what will happen when the circular road is completed. The economy that will be built around this state and the wealth that will follow. That is what we are trying to do. Looking at the big picture, creating a prosperous Oyo State. Not just waiting. We want to build an Oyo State that will be like the second economy in Africa, outside that of Nigeria. That's the vision.
An Oyo State where the local government is not autonomous, right? Right?
Who is saying that?
Where the governor can construct rules for local government, right?
See, I don't want to go into jurisprudence.
You have to go into jurisprudence. And that's why I brought you here. You are the Attorney General.
And I don't want to, you are...
I would have gone to the street to bring, but I wanted the Attorney General.
You are
the Attorney General.
You want to lure me into... I'm happy that you did not say an Oyo State where the governor is pocketing the money of the state or hitting it.
Some of the politicians are alleged there now that the governors are pocketing the money.
They should say it. This is a beer parlor talk.
That is a debate.
So you should, I'm a lawyer. You don't just make such wild statements. You say, Mr. Biodun Aikomo stole X amount belonging to Mr. Y. This is the evidence. Not just come and say, I'm from Oyo.
Okay.
There was a time the Akeso market got burnt.
Yeah.
And it was rebuilt by the state.
Why?
How much was spent rebuilding it?
Why not the local government?
Okay.
Is that not the function of the local government?
Now, you see, that is what we are talking about. As at the time that happened, we have not had this judgment. And there is a plan to develop the state. It's not development in Oyo State is not one-sided. It's not focused on any zone.
Why the governor must have used the money of Oyo West local government to rebuild the market, and he claims glory for it.
Who claims glory?
The governor, because that's the function of the local government.
Did the governor name it after himself to say it's my market?
But that's the function of the local government.
Let us not be. I'm very careful with my words now.
I know you have to be careful,
but let's be developmental.
Okay, listen to this, Bosun. The governor talks about grading of roads. Perhaps that will give us a better understanding. Governor Makinde does not believe in local government autonomy. You can take that to the bank. He has made it clear. So what we are waiting for is to see how Governor Makinde will tackle the Supreme Court. And he has set up committees. Except he changes his mind tomorrow. He made this statement on February 13th while delivering a state address before the Oyo State House of Assembly.
The grading of roads, I believe I already given a nod for implementation of about 30 kilometers of roads per local government. They should go ahead and grade it. I've given the nod. I understand maybe they're waiting for the break. We normally have July, August break. But the money is sitting in the account of each local government right now.
State Affairs with Edmondo Bilo is live.
How do you interpret that statement?
All I know, and you can prove me wrong, I challenge anybody to prove me wrong. The funds, local government funds, in the JAC account were utilized and dispensed by the respective local governments.
He said, I have given them the go-ahead. They did not take the decision as local government chairman. He has given them the approval. Or you are now go and spend. And if I don't give you approval, you dare not go and spend. And he made a statement at some point that he used to give them 10 million per month to spend. So the other money he spends on their behalf, perhaps.
That is not in this statement that you just played.
He has made that statement. You can quote me.
Well, I can't quote you. I can't quote.
But here he has given them the go ahead to go and spend, and that money is now in their account.
The money has always been in the local government account.
But they can't dare spend if he doesn't give the go ahead.
Did you see the affidavit that we filed before the Supreme Court?
Tell me about it.
The affidavit was deposed to by the chairman of Egbeda local government, Sikiru Sonda.
Okay.
Who is the chairman of Algon in Oyo State, who stated on oath before the Supreme Court what goes on in Oyo State.
All right.
So all these speculations, and I'm aware that you cannot spend anything outside the local government approval in Oyo State.
Okay.
And you can investigate this. The JAC account was operated with strict adherence to the rules.
To the rules.
Yes. And to show you, I was going to read the dissenting judgment of Justice Abiodun.
Yes.
To show you that our position is not unreasonable.
What's your position?
Of course, we defended the suit.
Go ahead.
The suit was filed by the federal government and we defended it.
What was your position?
Our position is that we denied every allegation of unconstitutionality.
Okay.
We denied every allegation of mismanagement of local government funds. And these, we had local governments democratically elected, unlike what was alleged. So we denied all the allegations. It was a generalist allegation. But we abide by the judgment of the Supreme Court. But let me read to you what Justice Abiru said. After all the erudite review of the case of both parties, I order as follows. Paragraph 12, and this is on record. Paragraph 12. I refuse the declaration that by virtue of section 162, 3 and 5 of the Constitution, the amount standing to the credit of local government councils in the Federation should be distributed to them and be paid directly to them. Same is dismissed. Paragraph 14. I refuse the declaration that by virtue of section 162, 3, 5 and 6 of the Constitution, the amount standing to the credit of a local government in the Federation account and received by a state on its behalf be paid into a state joint local government account and is liable to be paid directly to each local government without further delay, and same is dismissed. Paragraph 15. I refuse the declaration that a local government council is entitled to a direct payment from the Federation account of the amount standing to its credit in the said Federation account, where the state government has persistently refused or failed to pay to it the said amount received by the state government on its behalf, and same is refused. Paragraph 17. I refuse the order that the Federation, through its relevant officials, shall pay to local governments in a state directly from the Federation account the amount standing to their credit therein, where the said state has refused or failed to pay to each of them or any one of them the amount it received or has been receiving on their or its behalf, and same is refused. Now paragraph 18. which is instructive. I refuse the order directing immediate compliance by the states through their elected or appointed officials or public officers with the terms of the judgment and orders made in this suit, and successive compliance by successive state government officials and public officers, save when the applicable provisions of the Constitution of Nigeria as amended are interpreted, are otherwise subsequently amended as superfluous and unnecessary, and same is struck out. This is a minority view taken by Justice Abiru as against the position of 6 other judges.
Can you interpret it?
So, all the prayers of the federal government that the monies be paid to local government directly, that any money received should be, that the local government should receive directly, were not granted, because my Lord Honorable Justice Abiru believed that the Constitution should be amended before that can happen. But that's a minority view. But for me, that justifies the position that what we have said is not altogether unreasonable. But we are bound by what the court has said.
Okay.
So, like I said at the beginning of this program, we are going to review. When we review, we advise the governor in accordance with the law.
But if you say you agree with the Supreme Court judgment, it simply means money accruable to all the local governments in Oyo State will go directly to them henceforth.
What do we even have control over it? Are we the ones paying the money?
There was a joint account.
We are not the one disbursing. The money is coming from agents of the federal government, from the accountant general.
They will pay straight
so
now.
If they comply, then they pay. It's not even us. What we are doing is, as a responsible government, how do we ensure that the government continues to run effectively, notwithstanding the change in dynamics?
You know, the Oyo State government position is interesting, and I'll be following the development as it unfolds.
Honestly, I'm happy you made this statement, because, you know, when you embark on any exercise, there is an end goal.
Yeah.
So the end goal here is to ensure development at the local levels. Whether this thing has been carefully thought out, whether it will actually deliver the desired result, time will tell. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Time will tell. And we can have this conversation again.
Yes.
Recall that, how did we even get here? Every state government goes to Abuja every month to process their FAC allocation. I hope you are aware. Every commissioner of finance, they spend between 3 to 5 days a month in Abuja following up on whatever is coming to them. The amount in the distributable pool of the federation account is not fixed. It depends on what comes in from FRS, from all the revenue generating agencies, and is shared in accordance with a pre-agreed ratio. So now, everybody used to go, and they found out that this is very clumsy. 774. Why not just let us be paying through the states? So how these will now pan out in implementation, we will see. Now,
so local government chairman will now be going.
You have to follow up.
Abuja will become the centerpiece.
Most likely. Well, maybe there is a magic, arrangement.
Interesting.
We'll find out. Now, if you recall, in the 90s, you hear zero allocation. Even when this democracy started, because development in the local governments are not even. Population is not the same.
Yeah.
The obligations and responsibilities across local governments are not the same. A local government in Ibadan, in the heart of Ibadan, say Ibadan Municipal Local Government, that has many schools, many roads, and large population, is different from another local government in the hinterland that is not as populated. So when they take all the direct debits from those
primary school teachers,
they have zero, nothing is left. And that was what I believe informed the wisdom of, okay, since we are a state, we are concerned about developing the state uniformly. We are concerned about, curbing migration unnecessarily and overpopulation in some areas. Let's ensure that these development is even. And that is what led to the idea of, okay, it's in the joint account. Let's responsibly pool and manage this thing.
So you can take from the money accruing to Orelope to give to Ibadan so that they can augment their salary. That's obviously what has been going on.
If you are governor, let me put the question to you.
Yeah.
If you are the governor of a state, you have the dashboard of the state before you. So you have 33 local governments. One has population of 1 million, another one has population of 150,000. They have the same amount of money. Now, this one is in minus 500. This one is in surplus.
Yeah.
What do? You say it is a watertight compartment. Meanwhile, the law has not, as it is now interpreted, told you that you cannot
do that.
It's developmental.
But states are surviving. We know Lagos State makes a lot of money, so they use their money. Ekiti doesn't have its own money, so Ekiti has to find a way to survive.
Professor Obilo, Lagos State's IGR for last year, what was it?
Some states are richer than some states, but they are all surviving. That's the point I'm making.
Survival.
In that case, the state government will now leave the parks for Ibadan local government to manage and make money from the parks and the market. They will augment their allocation.
So, this conversation is deeper than what you're talking about.
I know.
So, have you thought about how to achieve this development very critically? So, why have the local governments not been able to perform the functions that you've listed in the 4th schedule?
Why?
No, I'm asking you.
No, you tell me.
So, you are not asking those questions because, and that is what His Excellency Governor Seyi Makinde has been saying. We have all shifted from being developmental, being productive, to just this beggarly arrangement. So let's just wait. In 30 days, money comes, we share. How many local governments have you seen licensing parks? All those functions that are there. They were there when we were growing up, as young as I am. So those are the kind of conversations that you should be having. You are just saying, what is the average allocation to a local government in the state?
What is it?
I'm asking you.
No, you tell me.
You are the one.
No, you have the details.
I'm not the commissioner for finance.
All right. Should I call him?
If you can.
So that we know the details. I will call the commissioner. So that we know the details. So that we understand the argument of the governor.
What is not understandable there?
We need to know why Ibadan North is not getting enough.
So, why Ibadan North is not getting enough is not determined by Ibadan North or your state.
Yeah, then it
is the sharing formula by revenue mobilization and fiscal agency in Abuja.
Then we get to the point of restructuring the sharing formula so that the federal government cannot just go away with more than 50%.
So those are the conversations.
No, we will get there.
We are now saying that beyond these. Do you know what other countries are doing in terms of agricultural exports?
But the ball is in the court of the states. Let them do it.
That is what the state is doing. So I'm surprised that you cannot see it.
No, you can't say I cannot see.
No. Have you gone to Fashola lately?
You should have seen my documentary on Fashola.
So, I grew up in the Oyo area. I have an uncle who retired from Fashola. We know what it used to be. When you want to drive from Isheyin to Oyo, it takes about 3 to 4 hours. Because the road, you cannot do more than 40 kilometers per hour.
We are seeing that.
So, the governor that is doing this to open up, to take development to every cranny of the state, to bring investors who will bring
Mr. Commissioner,
millions of dollars
talking about the law. We are talking about the law. You are the keeper of the law.
I'm the keeper of the law, and I'm telling you that
if the law is not working, we change the law.
that is what Justice Abiru has said.
So we should change the law.
If there is need for amendment, so be it.
Is there a need for amendment? I've asked that question before.
Of course.
Aha, Mr. Commissioner, let's leave it at that point. It's an ongoing conversation.
And it takes us back to our commitment to the rule of law. So this committee will then review everything, make recommendations as appropriate.
I am following. And I've made the point, Oyo State government position is quite interesting. And I will follow it up.
Okay.
I want to see how far. Because the governor is making some points. Some points that even align with my argument. I've not told you my full argument about local government autonomy. Because I'm a federalist. I have my point. I'm not happy that the federal government will become more powerful. The federal government, by this Supreme Court judgment, becomes more powerful. And the states become weaker. But again, it is also fundamental that at the local level, we must drive development to every corner. And we must find a way to do that.
So, okay, I hear you. But like I said, I've said it here. We are all Nigerians.
Yes.
We are committed. We are patriotic citizens who want Nigeria to work. So we are committed to good governance, to actual development of the people. And it's an ongoing conversation.
Biodun Aikomo, thank you for featuring on State Affairs.
It's my pleasure, sir.
He is the Commissioner of Justice and Attorney General of Oyo State. I am Edmondo Pilo. Stay tuned. The next conversation, it's about decadence in leadership in Nigeria. Get ready. Don't go away.